Mexico.
Yes, sir.
U.S. President Donald Trump on Thursday delayed for nearly 1 month his 25% tariffs on a wide range of goods from both Canada and Mexico. The latest twist in this fast-shifting trade policy. The exemption covers Canadian and Mexican goods under the North American Trade Pact. It comes just 2 days after Trump imposed sweeping tariffs on goods from the country's 2 largest trading partners, which has rattled financial markets and business leaders, who warned the move would hurt American consumers.
Después de hablar con la presidenta de México, Claudia Sheinbaum.
At a press conference, Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum read aloud Trump's Truth Social post announcing the 1-month reprieve. She said the decision followed a, quote, respectful phone call with Trump, during which she explained that Mexico's security measures have been working to reduce the flow of fentanyl into the U.S.
Solamente en febrero.
In February alone, the reduction in fentanyl seizures on the U.S. side of the border with Mexico was reduced by 41.5%.
Entonces le dije, estamos teniendo resultados.
So I said to him, we are getting results, President Trump. Now that you put in the tariffs, how are we going to continue collaborating with something that hurts the people of Mexico?
April 2nd is going to be a very big day for America.
Trump said the tariff exemptions will last until April 2nd, when he has threatened to impose a global regime of reciprocal tariffs on all U.S. trading partners. The latest development comes a day after Trump exempted automotive goods from the 25% tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico. Economists said those levies threaten to stoke inflation and stall growth across all 3 economies.
Directors at Japan's third-largest automaker Nissan will reportedly discuss potential successors to CEO Makoto Uchida at a meeting on March the 11th. It's due to the worsening performance of the company. That's according to 3 people familiar with the matter. Sources added that candidates being considered include the company's chief financial officer and chief planning officer. And the next CEO could be installed as a temporary or transitional leader. That would give the board more time to find a permanent replacement. The people speaking to Reuters declined to be identified because the information has not been made public. A Nissan representative declined to comment. The March the 11th meeting was first reported by Kyodo News. Shares of Nissan gained 1.8% in Tokyo, outperforming a 2.2% decline in the Nikkei index. The news follows the collapse last month of talks to merge with Honda. The car makers had been discussing a tie-up to create a $60 billion company. But those negotiations were soon strained by disagreements, including over the balance of power between the longtime rivals.
Trade jitters drove down U.S. stocks on Thursday, with the Dow dropping 1%, the S&P 500 shedding nearly 1.8%, and the Nasdaq spiraling 2.6%, officially closing in correction territory. President Trump on Thursday delayed tariffs on most Mexican and Canadian imports for 1 month, the latest twist in his on-again, off-again approach to trade policy that has whipsawed markets. But Brian Mulberry, client portfolio manager at Zacks Investment Management, sees the pullback as something that may eventually bring more clarity for investors.
So the noise is simply, this could get ugly, and it's a little bit of a sloppy trade right now, and we think a lot of people are just simply taking some risk off of the table, which isn't necessarily a bad thing when we see the S&P trading at 22 times forward earnings versus the historical 17 to 18 times. So for us, it wouldn't be irrational to kind of get to that 5,400, 5,500 level on the S&P and then find somewhat of a bottom there, because then the valuation would at least be closer to that historical average. And then we have some time to assess where the real risk is in this market.
Thursday's stock moves included Marvell Technology, which slumped nearly 20% after the chip maker's results failed to impress investors. Shares of other semiconductor makers, including Broadcom and NVIDIA, also saw big losses. Shares of Tesla fell 5.6% as brokerage Baird named the electric car maker a bearish fresh pick. And shares of Gap, which ended lower, soared about 14% in extended trading after the retail chain beat fourth-quarter sales and profit estimates, helped by improving demand at its Old Navy and Banana Republic stores. Investors now turn their attention to Friday's key monthly jobs report for more clues on the direction of interest rates and health of the economy.
The European Central Bank cut interest rates as expected on Thursday. It lowered the deposit rate to 2.5% as inflation slowed and growth faltered. The central bank said rates were still restricting growth, even if less so than in the past. Such wording left open the possibility for more easing ahead. ECB President Christine Lagarde.
Our monetary policy is becoming meaningfully less restrictive, as our interest rate cuts are making new borrowing less expensive for firms and households, and loan growth is picking up. The disinflation process is well on track.
The ECB's position suggests another rate cut in April is not a certainty. It also lowered its economic growth forecast for the fourth straight time on Thursday. It put expansion this year at just 0.9%, only slightly above last year's pace. Inflation is also projected to be 2.3% this year, slightly above the number seen 3 months ago.
The downward revisions for 25 and 26 reflect lower exports and ongoing weakness in investment, in part originating from high trade policy uncertainty as well as broader policy uncertainty.
The update comes while the European Union braces for a potential trade war with the US. Firms have already held back investment as they wait to see what happens.